Welcome back. You know, from its beginning, this program has always existed for you. For the people who are censored off of Instagram and shadow banned and blocked by Facebook and permanently kicked off Twitter. For the people who are ignored by the mainstream press, even by these so-called fake conservative publications. We exist to give a voice to ordinary people, people who are seeing the disastrous impact of our tyrannical government and its suicidal policies every single day. The people that have been hurt or killed by vaccine mandates. The people who have been terrorized and separated from their families by overreaching tyrannical communist draconian lockdowns. Families and children who have been victimized and trafficked and raped by CPS. And by the demonic forces of our public school systems. These damages aren't in the abstract. They aren't some cheap plot point on some television show or an empty talking point for some campaign ad. No, these issues are real. And when our policies are misguided or more likely downright evil, they have real victims. That's why we exist. That's why we try to talk to as many people as we can who are being directly hurt by what this corporate government crime syndicate is doing. We need to give those people a voice. And we need to show that these issues are real and that they're pressing. And that if we don't take immediate action right now, more people will be getting hurt or killed every day. But it's a painful process. And today is a particularly painful one. Ernest Ramirez is a father who lost his 16-year-old son 5 days after his son received the Pfizer shot. The only explanation that Ramirez ever received for his son's sudden death was an enlarged heart. The exact kind of ailment that we have seen and reported on that has been caused over and over and over again by these shots. According to the autopsy, his son Ernesto's heart was double a heart's normal size. I was in Idaho recently giving testimony before lawmakers. Ernest spoke at that event about what happened to his family, about how his son was murdered by Big Pharma. Take a look.
Junior he changed my life the day he was born. He wasn't just my son, he was my best friend. He loved baseball. I taught him how to love God, how to love his country. When this COVID hit, naturally we did everything that we were told to do. I took the Moderna, to prevent bringing COVID home to my son. And then Pfizer turned around and said it was safe for teenagers. And actually my son told me, yes, Dad, let's go get it. And every day was a normal day. He had no side effects, nothing. I wake up in the morning, wake him up, give him a hug and a kiss. I would go to work. In the afternoons, he'd come running out, and I'd give him a hug and a kiss again. So after he got that first dose, I had my neighbor, Junior's best friend's mother, ask if she could take the boys out to eat and play basketball. They got off the truck, and they ran to the court, and he collapsed. By the time she called me, she was hysterical, and I didn't want to believe it because that's my baby. He was protected, supposedly. I got there, they were loading him up on the ambulance. They wouldn't let me ride with him. When I got to the hospital, they still were working on him. The doctor, after a while, came out and said, your son's dead, you can go home now. I didn't want to leave my son there. That's all I had. I had to go home to an empty house.
It took a demonic amount of evil for this to ever happen. We have always known from the very beginning that whatever COVID is, it poses zero danger to people under 18. It literally might as well not even exist. There was zero reason to ever require these shots for children, even if they did work. The only reason this jab was ever pushed onto kids was from ideological fanaticism. COVID panic is a religion. And like Moloch, 3,000 years ago, this religion requires the ritual sacrifice of children. After losing his son, Ernest tried to raise awareness so he could warn other parents and save them from this same tragedy. But his GoFundMe was taken down for, quote, prohibited conduct, aka prohibited knowledge. But Ernest and his story will never be prohibited on this program, and he joins us now. Ernest, thank you so much for coming.
It was good to see you finally in person, sir. Really appreciate everything you do.
Where are all of our so-called elected representatives? Why are they not talking about Ernesto and the millions of other kids that will ultimately end up in early graves as a result of this bioweapon euthanasia injection?
Behind closed doors, they say they support and they want to help, but out in public, they just hide. They deny everything. They don't want to step up. They're not men, because like I've always said, all our men need to grow a pair and start standing up for all these children. I mean, like I said, I don't have to do this. This is not anything I planned. I mean, I could stay here and let the world continue fighting this stuff on their own. But you know, like I said, I always taught my son to be a man. And I know I need to do this too, because he would expect me to stand up. He knows my heart. So I need more men to stand up with me. I mean, they don't have to have children. I mean, because like I said hundreds of times, if I see a child in danger, I'm going to jump in and stand in front of that child to protect that child. It doesn't have to be my own. That's me being a man, me being human, me trying to be a man of God, because I know that is what God expects us to do, protect one another. So that's why I'm in this fight. I don't know why our elected officials are not doing that. They lost God. They're trying, they're trying to kill God. They're trying to get him out of DC. They're trying to get him out of our school. They're trying to keep him away from our children, so our children won't grow up to be good people. So I don't know why they're not standing up. I mean, we elected them for our best interests, and they're not doing that. They don't care about our lives. All they're worried about is making money, and that's at the cost of our children's lives.
I'd like to see how many of these people, so-called elected representatives, have shareholder stock interest in Pfizer and Moderna and Gilead. I bet it would not surprise you to learn that the majority of them do have it. What can the average person do? What do you think people should be out here doing in the streets every day to prohibit this thing, to bring awareness to this, to expose the real dangers behind these shots?
Well, it takes everyone. It takes a village to raise children, like they say. So everyone needs to stand up. You hear some information, you don't have to take my word for it. I have no reason to lie, though. Spread it. Tell it to your friends. Start gathering together, and start going to our capitals. Each and every person, we should choose a day where we should attack all these. Not attack. I'm sorry. We should all stand up at all our capitals and try to get our voices heard, because we need to bond together. I mean, they're not going to stop doing what they're doing until everyone is heard.
They're not going to stop until they're stopped.
As a nation need to stand up and make noise, loud enough noise, so we can bring attention. That way actual media will see us and say, hey, something's going on here. Because right now it's just one person over here, one over there, and that they can muffle up. But us as a nation, if we stand up and all yell the same thing, stop this, leave our people alone, then we'll have to get attention that way, no matter what you say. You know, like I said, we have to do it. I mean, how else? I'm just one person. You're one person. You're yelling on one side. I'm yelling over here too, and they're just pushing us aside because we're just individuals. We need to create our own army to do this.
And that army needs to be present at vaccine clinics. It needs to be present at schools. It needs to be present at emergency departments and hospitals. It needs to be present at drugstores and pharmacies. Because if these people aren't going to listen, then we need to turn up the volume. Now is not the time to say, oh, we are winning. Now is the time to pour it on. We will
Yes,
never
sir,
prohibit
exactly.
you or your story from this program, and we will blast it loudly and from every rooftop. We will honor your son and his memory and his legacy, and that story can be used for such power in this world, and you're doing that when so many other dads would just either be blind to what actually killed their son and deny it, they would feel guilt, and they would go in a fetal position and be useless sacks of crap on the floor, but no, not you. And that's what makes you a hero, because you are using the most horrific experience that a father could ever imagine, and you're turning it into a fight to protect other kids from being in early graves.
Yes, sir.
And I just want you
Yes,
to
sir.
know that I personally, and this program and this platform, honors the hell out of you for that. I want you to know
Thank you,
that.
sir.
Thank you. And
Thank
thank you for being here. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. And I hope to see you again so we can continue this fight.
We won't stop fighting until we take our last breath. I cannot imagine that pain. Every father, like Ernest said, should be out there